Okay, so Frozen 2 is directed by Chris Buck and Jennifer Lee, and it stars Kristen Bell, Idina Menzel, Jonathan Groff, and Josh Gad from the first movie. This is the sequel to the 2013 worldwide phenomenon that has numerous people singing songs, numerous people dressing up as the characters, and yeah. Now, I thought the first Frozen was just fine. It wasn't, like, amazing. It's fun to watch. The animation is great. The characters are fine. The songs are really good. It's obviously worth watching. I honestly did not need a sequel to this movie. It just seemed unnecessary. It just seemed like a cash grab movie from Disney. And the trailers didn't impress me too much, but I still went in with an open mind. And for the most part, I'll just say that the movie is okay. It's not like it's groundbreaking or amazing, but it's fun to watch, but at the same time, you'll probably forget about it within the next day or so. So what is the plot of this one? Well, in this one, Elsa begins hearing a voice that is calling to her, so she and her sister, along with Kristoff and Olaf, they travel into a forbidden forest in order to find out what's causing this. And there's new songs, there's some new characters, and yeah, for the most part, this film is just okay. So what did I like about it? Some of the songs, they're alright. Like, they're not bad or anything. You can listen to them and they're like, oh, these are nice and such. The song Into the Unknown is probably the best one by default. That's the only one I actually remembered. That's the one I looked up afterwards. The other ones, they're not as good, unfortunately. And, yeah, that's also probably one of my biggest problems with this movie is that none of the songs are catchy. Like, walking out of this movie, I didn't remember... Not only did I not remember the lyrics of the songs, I didn't even remember the melodies of them. They weren't as catchy as the original, but I'll get to my problems with this movie later. Like I said with the first one, the animation was great in that one. This one is good. It's not as great as the first one, but it's a little bit different than the first one. Because, like, this one takes place during autumn, it takes place during the fall, instead of summer or winter, if you want to call it. But it's nice to look at. It's a different color palette than the first one, so that's very unique. That's very different from the first one. Also, surprisingly, the film has a darker tone than the first one. There are a lot of moments where I was like, wow, they really went there. And for the most part, it worked, because, like, it doesn't really become darker until the last act. So I kind of appreciated that. Also, I thought some of the characters were better than the first one, like Anna, voiced by Kristen Bell. I thought she was better than the first one. She has a lot more character this time. Also, I heard Olaf voiced by Josh Gad, was really bad in this one. Honestly, I didn't think it was that bad. I thought he was actually kind of funny in this one. He got a few chuckles. Like, there's this one scene where he's doing a recap of the first Frozen movie, and it's hilarious. That's probably the best scene in the movie. Yeah, aside from, Elsa, voiced by Idina Menzel, she doesn't really have any more character than she did in the first one, I would say. Also, Kristoff, voiced by Jonathan Groff, has no character in this movie other than the plot thread that he's going through with this movie, but I'll get to that. Like I said with the songs, I thought they weren't as catchy as the first one. Now we're kind of getting into what I did not care for in this movie. The main thing is that the subplots in this movie, they kind of don't really do much. There's this one subplot where Kristoff's trying to propose to Anna, and it's in the first half of the movie a lot, and it doesn't really work. Also, I forgot to mention with the songs. The songs aren't as catchy as the first movie, but there's this one song that Kristoff has that I thought was hilariously bad. Yikes. It was, he sings this song about being alone, basically, and for some reason they decided to do this in the style of 90s music videos, 80s music videos, like rock, love ballad songs, and it did not work for me. It's like, oh, I get what they're doing here. Like, there's this one reference to the band Queen, and I'm like, really? Like, in this movie? Like, is that necessary? I don't know. Also, like, a few other things. Like, there's a ton of new characters in this movie. One voiced by Sterling K. Brown, one voiced by Evan Rachel Wood. And they didn't really leave much impact. Like, I don't really remember much that they did in this movie, to be honest. They, didn't have much character, didn't have a lot to do. They were there. There's really not much you can say other than they were there and they were characters. Also, I kind of noticed that, two things in the plot that I really kind of didn't care for was that it was both really predictable and it was anticlimactic at the same time. Like, I kind of could predict a lot of the things that were going to happen in this movie, and they did. And also, like, the ending scene, I won't get into spoilers, but it just felt so anticlimactic, and I'm like, oh, that's it? Okay, so let's just wrap this up now. So, okay, could have gone into more detail about that, I guess, but no, we gotta get to the finale right away. That's kind of something I noticed about a lot of animated movies this year, like that, and Missing Link, and Abominable. They all kind of just ended like that. Also, there's also no real villain in this movie. I found that odd, but then I kind of thought about it more. And, yeah, there's no villains in a lot of these Disney animated movies now. Like, this, Wreck-It Ralph 2, Moana, there's no real villain in these movies. Instead, it's kind of, more complex than that, so I don't know, I do like it because it's darker, but I hate it because it's a lot more complex than the original. Yeah, also, it kind of just, it kind of borrowed heavily from a lot of other things, like I mentioned, the whole Wreck-It Ralph 2 thing, because it had just no villain, and the ending is kind of a bit the same. Spoilers, I guess. But, also, the beginning kind of rips off a little bit of Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I was kind of laughing in the theater when they mentioned, like, fire, air, earth, water, and I'm like, did you just borrow this from Avatar: The Last Airbender? Like, did you just borrow this from that? Like, oh my god, why? Why would you do that? But, I guess, like, again, this movie's not horrible. It's fine to watch, but I probably will never watch this again. Not the more I think about it. The songs are fine, the performances are fine, the animation is good, the songs are good while you're listening to them. But, this just doesn't really work overall, I feel like. It'll be fun one-time watch, really nothing else. In the end, I would give it a 2.5 out of 4 stars. Stream it if you're interested. So, yeah, that's about it.